I think I just sent you that link as well directly to you. So I'm seeing this to the full chat. Um, this is basically a discount code that you can use for all of my courses that I created as a bundle. So screenshot it, click on it, save it. And if you have any questions, let me know. But in this chat box, you can give me feedback, you can ask questions, you can send messages to each other, and so forth. So I want to make sure that you have that. You can see that. You can see the link with the access code. And without any further ado, I'm going to start because I created 100 slides to get through, and it was like, oh my gosh, I want to tell them this and I want to share this. Um, because it's something I'm passionate about. It's something that has helped me. It's something all these things that are in here have completely shifted how I create content, how I show up, and how it leads to consistent bookings with my ideal client. Now, I know that everybody here, we have different maybe services. Maybe we're doing Botox, maybe we're doing skincare, maybe we're doing tiny tattoos, maybe we're doing PMU, but it can be applied to any service you are doing. There also may be different variations of where you are in your business and what you pull from this. So I will be having you kind of check in with yourself, with your Instagram, with your content, and you can share it here in the chat. You can keep it to yourself, whatever energetically feels supportive to you, I want you to do. So this is a umbrella conversation that I want to have with you today of content that books. So first, who am I? Who is Noelle? And I want to tell you a quick story because let me have this up here. It's not something you've ever heard before. And if you follow along, you might notice that I enjoy telling you stories. So I was never taught how to manage money. No one sat me down and explained what to do with it, how to grow, how to hold it, how to feel safe with it. What I did learn was you had to work really hard, and even then, it probably still wouldn't be enough. And for years, that belief shaped how I handled money. I avoided it like the plague. Thinking about it right now gives me chills. I avoided looking at my bank account. I avoided seeing what was coming in, and I certainly avoided looking what was going out. So that kind of avoidance, it's a problem. It's a problem for business, for growth, for nervous system, your nervous system in general. Um, but how do you change a belief around money if you're not even willing to look at it? And I remember this one moment so clearly. I was driving my cousins and my aunt and uncle around in Maine. I was 32, so 12 years ago. And my cousins were carefree in the background, my aunt and uncle, they're all singing. And I was being the responsible one. But in my head, I was silently panicking. I kept thinking, how am I going to pay for gas to get home? Now, you might be thinking, well, why did you even go to Maine? Pay for a hotel, drive that far if you couldn't even afford gas to get home. Um, Needless to say, my priorities were clearly not where they should be, right? But without even saying a word in that moment, my uncle handed me money for gas. It was like the universe heard my thoughts and responded. That moment always stuck with me because it showed me how powerful our thoughts are. And I really believe that what you believe, it becomes your reality, becomes your truth. If you believe it's hard to make money, if you believe it's hard to get booked, if you believe there will never be enough, that's the reality you will keep living. The truth I learned along the way, and it took me a long time and I'm still learning, that money wants to move. And when you stop trying to control it, when you stop avoiding it, when you learn how to hold it with awareness instead of fear, that's where it starts to flow. And that's where freedom begins. And telling you this story because I believe that you are here because you have the awareness that instead of having the fear to grow, instead of having the fear to move forward, you're having the awareness to expand and grow. So, fast forward 12 years, I have now built a multi six-figure beauty business, and I am in the studio 3 times a week seeing clients. I am a mom of 2 young children, and I don't even have 10,000 followers. So, when I say I run a multi six-figure beauty business, I'm not saying that to brag. And you might have seen this before, and potentially maybe this helps you have some proof, right? Some receipts of what I'm saying actually might work. I'm highlighting here, this is July 25th. So just recently, um, this is our yearly service total sales. So I want you to know this because I want you to know what's possible, especially if you're building a beauty business from scratch like I did. Multi six figure means making more or bringing in more than $200,000 a year. So it's not about going viral or being famous. It's far from that. It's about learning how to turn your skill set into consistent income. So, why did I just tell you that story? So, let me ask you, did you feel something? If you did, let me know. Put like a 1 in the comments. Did it connect us more than if I stood here and just said, these are my credentials, this is my resume, these are the facts, these are the features and benefits of who I am? You might not even give a shit, right? You want to feel something, you want to connect. We are human, we are built for connection. And that is the power of storytelling. Storytelling is a huge, huge way to move your client from being a stranger to being booked with you. So it's not about what you do, because let's face it, we know there's a lot of people that do what we do, and our clients have many choices, right? But it's about how you make her feel, and that is going to move you faster to get closer to having her booked with you. She does not feel anything, she will not take action. And we all go through this, we all experience this. So that is exactly where your content starts, because your success isn't a dream, right? It's a decision. And I want to help you make that more clear. So, in a nutshell, content that books speaks to the emotions, desires, and decision making process of your ideal client. It's not just about showing your work. Instagram is not just a portfolio. And yes, showing before and afters are important. And this is sometimes what clients need to see to picture themselves in it, right? But it's also about guiding her through the journey of saying yes, even before she DMs you. Okay. So, what is Instagram? It's a tool. It's simple as that. It's a tool to grow your business. We have so many tools that we use to grow our business, to do our skill and our tool, right? You might use a needle. You might use a machine. You might use your phone to take pictures. They're all tools. So is Instagram. So I want you to try to picture it in your toolbox. So it's a tool for you to grow your business. It's not something for your friends and family. It's not for validation. It's sure as hell not to make you feel better, because it doesn't. So we're gonna leave the emotions out of what Instagram is for, and we're gonna just use it as a tool. It's it's there for you to connect and show what you can offer and to solve your ideal client's problems. So let's start there. I think a lot of us think we might know who we're talking to, and I see this all the time. I can probably go to your page and tell you, okay, you tell me who your ideal client is, and I'll tell you, you're probably not talking to her here, you're not talking to her here, you're not talking to her here. And then you're wondering why you're not booking, or you're hearing crickets, or you're like, well, does anyone even freaking care? The ideal client is the first place for you to start, and everything falls into that from there. Okay, so let's get into what ideal client is And then we're going to get a little specific. So your ideal client is the specific person who is most likely to need your service, value your approach, trust your expertise, and pay your prices happily. Okay. Your ideal client will never ask you for a discount. They are not looking for a discount. They want to pay what you have to offer in the way you can do it. I am a more higher price point for my services, and I do not ever apologize for it. I do not ever make excuses. I never discount my prices just to get booked. I've only raised them over the last 7 years, and my clients happily pay. Sometimes they come in for a consultation and then they're like, I want to do it. And I'm like, oh, wait, I should probably ask the price. Like it's an afterthought because of how much trust they have been able to build along the way in order for them to already have said yes to me before they're even coming in for the consultation. So that is what talking to your ideal client really does every single time. They're not just anyone who wants brows, Botox, lashes, or facials. They're a person who has a problem you solve, wants it solved the way you do it. Again, remember, they can go to anybody. So why would they choose you? Right? It feels, yes, this is for me when they see your content. It becomes a dream client to work with, right? She's going to tell her friends, she's going to refer her family, she's going to write you 5-star Google reviews, she's going to come back for additional services, she's going to be there supporting you on social media, right? She's a dream client. You're like, can I just have 100 of you? Yes. Okay. That is who you have to envision. If you have someone in mind, just think of her every time you're creating content. Okay. So, in short, they're not just a fit, they're a full body yes for you and for her. Okay. Because once you start booking your ideal client and speaking to her, the whole process for you also becomes easier. There, again, you're not going to be struggling with more of a headache client or a headache patient or someone who is all up in your DMs complaining or like, you missed one stroke right here. Like they're going to understand what you offer and how you do it because of the way you've delivered it again and again and again, because she is 100% watching. And this is why your ideal client, knowing her is so important. It really is the beginning of doing any content creating. Without this step, and a lot of people skip it, or they think they're talking to someone that there is their ideal client, but they're actually creating content that's repelling her. Okay. So you're not just trying to win her over. She's already trusting you because your content pre-framed the whole conversation, right? That is what creating content that books is. So she walks in saying, whatever you think is best, I just want to feel like myself again. Or I trust you. I just trust you, right? You might have heard that before, and those are the people that have been watching you before. Maybe they're referred by someone else. So even though I still get many, many referrals, and that's still my number one way of getting clients, but not everybody that's referred goes straight to going to my schedule and booking. They will go maybe check out my website, then they will follow me on Instagram, right? They're still doing vibe checks. They're still making up their own mind. Now, what does that tell you? Like she still needs more trust, right? So even though she was referred by someone and she's not just calling and booking right away, which does happen, or like, yeah, I get it. I trust you. I saw Sally's brows and I love them. I'm ready to go. It does happen. But most people don't move forward without building more trust along the way. And we all do that. So we will get into that for sure. Okay, so this is what happens when you speak to your ideal client. Your content or your calendar fills with people who just get it. Okay, they're willing to pay. I have a little typo there. Love that for myself. Pay premium prices. Okay, again, my pricing is not the lowest price point, and I do feel like it's all perception. It's in your branding. It's how you show up online and in your social media to create that sense of value of what people are willing to pay and what they're not going to be willing to pay. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not. There's people who have said, you know what, it's out of my price range. I understand that, but I am not going to feel like it's a personal attack on me or potentially someone that is like, oh, well, can you lower your prices for me? No, it allows you to have boundaries and keep your energy safe with the how you're choosing, right? You get to say yes. You determine your price and then you get to protect your energy and boundaries and then they will come in willingly, and if not, that leaves more room for people who are going to actually want to come in and pay your price. So you stop trying to convince the woman who just wants the cheapest option, right? She's not for me. So she can go somewhere else and that's okay, right? Am I the absolute best artist in the no, but it's just because I've branded myself that way. I speak that way. I'm consistent in how I show up and I know who I'm talking to. I know who I'm talking to that's going to value what I have to say the way I do it and they're willing to pay for that, right? So this is going to start magnetizing the one who's been waiting for you. So the one who says, I feel like you're in my head, like she gets me. I've been watching you for 6 months. I'm finally ready. Your content made me trust you even before I messaged you. Okay. This is why knowing the power of your ideal client, it's not just a marketing tactic, it's the difference between burning out, not knowing what to post, feeling like I don't want to post another freaking before and after photo, right? It's being booked out with ease. So most people do skip this step. So imagine this, right? Your dream client is a busy mom in her 40s. She's in her car between drop offs and her Target run. She's half scrolling, half listening to a podcast, wearing yesterday's mascara, right? Okay. She doesn't need a list of features. She doesn't need a moment. She needs a moment of relief, right? She needs to hear, you're tired of rushing out the door and still feeling undone. Here's how I can change that. She needs to know how you solve her problem. You need to understand what her struggles are, speak to her struggles, but also move her from her struggles to her ultimate desire, right? If we stay talking to her only in her struggles, that's where she's going to stay. So a lot of people just speak to the problem or the pain points and never move them to their ultimate desire, right? So this is something she can relate to. This is something where she's going to connect to versus saying, book now. I have, your features and benefits, right? Features and benefits are what something does. Great. Okay. Botox will help my wrinkles, but why would she want her wrinkles to be gone? That is the emotional trigger that you need to speak to, right? So, content that doesn't speak to her real life is a missed connection. So, not because you're not talented. Again, I know that you're good at what you do. And it's not because she doesn't want to see what her life could look like after working with you. So, if you're not showing her why it matters to her in her world, you're just blending in, right? You have to think of it as a what's in it for me. Okay. We are all watching and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's a what's in it for me. It's about me world, unfortunately. Okay. So she's going to keep scrolling and she's going to miss the transformation that she's searching for with you. So your job isn't just to post content, it's to build trust with a scroll and guide her closer to saying yes. So if you don't know who you're talking to, how can you do that? How can you guide her if you don't know who you're talking to? How can you build trust with a scroll where she lands on your page and says, she's talking to me? Okay. So you're going to think of your core role as three parts when you're showing up and creating content. You're going to mirror, right? You mirror her. How does she feel? Mirror her, help her feel seen. So when you think of mirroring, that is like if you told me, Noelle, I'm just not feeling good today. I was up all night and I had a splitting headache. I would say, oh, I can understand that you're not feeling well. It's so hard to not get good sleep and then have a headache on top of it. I just repeated your words back to you. Okay, so it takes the thinking out of it. Just use her words back to her. Okay, she's gonna feel seen and heard. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's what we all want anyway, right? We don't complain to our husbands or our boyfriends or our moms because we really want a solution. You just want to be heard and understood sometimes, right? So that's what you can do. You're going to guide, you're going to show her what's possible. So here's what's going on. Here's what it could look like instead. So you're going to show her what the future version of her looks like after she's gone through the transformation with you. The invitation, so AKA your call to action, okay? You give her safe and clear steps. Here's how to start, not just book now. That she has no idea what that means, okay? And she's most likely not going to do it. She needs clear steps to take with you. And you're guiding her, right? You're simply guiding her, right? You're not selling, you're not bossing her around, you're guiding her. She's looking for you to give her the next step. Remember, she's trying, if she's already looking, we're going to get into buyer psychology and what that really means for moving her forward and guiding her to the next step. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is do a quick check. So if you want, you can screenshot this or write them down really quick for your ideal client. Ready? Can you name 3 things she buys? What does your ideal client buy? If do you know what she wears on a regular day? She buys makeup. Okay, good. What is she wearing on a regular day? What is she throwing on? Is she wearing leggings, sneakers? Is she dressed in some gold jewelry? Is she wearing wide leg jeans and sneakers with a button down? What is she doing? Where is she wearing? Who is she? These are just surface questions for your ideal client. Yep. Okay, good. Can you describe her in 3 words? Is she type A? Is she type B? 3 words. Is she polished? Is she laid back? Is she overwhelmed? What is her? Do you know what she wants help with right now? Again, not just brows, not just Botox. That's your service. What problem does she want solved? What does she want help with? And it can kind of go even a little deeper than that. How does she want to feel? What is she looking to feel? Not feeling like herself. Okay, right. So what does that mean in creating content? So when you're thinking of it a little deeper, right, than just features and benefits and the service you provide, it's going to be, you're going to show up differently. You're going to connect differently. Does she know when, like, okay, good. Now, let's go even deeper. Okay. You can screenshot this as well. Can you describe her like a real person? Now, remember, when I was talking about this, maybe you're like, oh my God, I can picture my ideal client. It was Nicole, and she booked 3 services with me. She refers all her friends. Like, who? Picture a actual person, okay? Maybe not just an age group, but what keeps her up at night? What would she Google at 11 p.m.? Okay, these are all questions. Again, you can screenshot, you can answer for yourself on your own time. You can kind of go through them here. Okay, what's her morning routine? What does she want versus what does she need? Okay, there are so many things that I want, but do I need them? Absolutely not. Does it mean I don't buy them? Absolutely not. Okay, so, okay, what now, quickly, or tonight at another time, do your last 5 posts speak to her? Are they talking to any of these points? Or are they about you? Are they about your technique? Would she feel seen in your last 5 posts or inspired by it? Does it reflect her transformation Or again, just show off your work or your technique. Are you clear on what she's afraid of? Not just surface level fears like pain. Okay, why is she worried about pain? Okay, is she worried it will look fake? Did she have a bad experience with someone else? Is that what she's afraid of? Is she scared to invest in herself? Does she feel guilty spending money on herself? Okay. All of these questions are going to help you really hone in on your ideal client and who you're talking to so that you know when you're speaking to her, you're able to answer all these questions for her, right? And if you don't know them, get super clear on it so that it's going to help you be like, okay, what am I going to post? You know what? I know that she's afraid, or maybe she had a really bad experience with someone else and she's afraid to do it again. Talk about it, right? So, would she recognize herself in your content within 3 seconds? Unfortunately, we do not have a whole lot of time on Instagram anymore to connect, right? People are scrolling fast, unbelievably fast. So, are you showing her lifestyle, her struggles, her ultimate desires, right? We're moving her past her struggles to her ultimate desires. Or are you showing what you like and hoping she'll get it, right? Big, big difference between that one. Okay. Another one, screenshot these and write them down. Does this speak directly to one woman? Are you showing up, hey guys, right? When you say, hey guys, I just popping in real quick, nobody cares that you're popping in. And if you're saying, hey guys, you're not speaking to her, you're speaking to everyone. She's not going to connect with you. You just say, how are you? You just speak to one girl, one woman, whoever she is, always, every time. Okay. So, can she imagine how her life will feel after? Okay, her future self. So, if she went through with the service that you provide, how would she feel? How would her life change? Is this answering a question she's already asking herself? Or are you speaking a language or a lingo she does not understand or she's not doesn't even care about? I've had clients that come in and they're like, yeah, I don't really care what technique it is. I just want it to look good on me. Okay, so me telling them the difference between microblading and powder brows doesn't really matter, right? So everybody has a different uh, version of going through their buying and what makes them move forward, right? So does it spark a feeling she knows and a next step she wants? Okay, again, we're speaking to her to connect first, and then we're going to move her through. Okay. So is the next step she wants? Are you providing a next step? Are you giving her direction? It just reminded me, my daughter, my niece was in a play, Annie, on Thursday, and it came out in 1982. So I was two. And I believe it was supposed to be what in the 30s? Was it Annie supposed to be taken in the 1930s or something like that, right? Or 50s? When they were on air, what they would do, or TV, they might even still do it. They would hold up a sign and say applause, right? To tell people what to do. Because we're like, oh, what do we do? Yeah, sure. Well, clap. Great. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing with our call to actions. You're not asking for her. You're not asking too much from her by giving her a direction because you're trying to help guide her to the next step. I want you to just think of guiding her to the next step. Okay? So your Instagram is not just a portfolio. It's not just for you to be like before and after, before and after. Look at my work. It's not about you, right? It's not about me. It's about her. It's about who's consuming it on the other end. It's a preview of the experience she will have with you. So give her an experience that she's going to have. So when you create content, you can save this. When you create content next, ask yourself these two questions. Sometimes I do this every time I create a post because I'm like, you know what? Let me just check in because sometimes I'm like, oh, this is good. I want to share it. And I was like, well, maybe I think it's good, but does she really care? Does she need to know it? Who do I picture consuming this, right? Who is watching it on the other end? And how does it make her feel? Does it make her feel anything? Okay. So those two things you're going to Constantly check in with yourself. So, this is why knowing your ideal client matters when creating content. It's the foundation for attracting your dream clients. Without it, everything else you do, content, marketing, even your DMs, feels like guessing in the dark and will not lead to bookings. So, when you know exactly who you're speaking to, everything gets easier, more clarity, more connection, more clients. Okay. So, people don't buy when they understand you, they buy when they feel understood. Okay. So again, it's really about her. Oops. What did I just do? Oh, okay. I think I just, can we close that? I think I just closed the chat box. Okay, let me go back. Okay. So let me just make sure I have that. How do I even get the chat box back up? Do, 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 do. Chat. Okay. Why is it big? Alrighty. Well, how do I don't even know how I can make it smaller. We're just gonna keep going. Okay. So next is, I'm gonna try to make this super, super quick because I know I said I would only keep you for an hour, and I know this is so much information and I probably should shorten it. But again, I just was like so excited to share this with you. So brand alignment. A lot of people create a brand first before they know who they're talking to. So if you create a brand first, your brand might not speak to your ideal client. Why? Because you might be using colors and music and language that does not connect to her at all, right? So why branding doesn't happen first? So you want to create a brand that's going to speak to her, right? If you're using a lot of hot pink, is your ideal client going to resonate or love hot pink, right? So we have to really make sure that your branding supports your ideal client. Who she is surface level, right? Her demographics, lifestyle values, that's surface level for our ideal client. What she needs, her solutions, her desires, her problems. You can use market research to figure that out if you don't already know some of those already. And I have in the courses that I created, I very, very deep dive into your ideal client with a complete questionnaire and marketing questions that you can send out to people or have some of your ideal clients answer as well for yourself. This way you know exactly who you're talking to. Um, okay, so it's going to be easier to attract her because she's going to relate to it, right? So, what is a branding? Okay, when we look at these two different pictures, I use this a lot because I just loved it. It was like, it really is super clear here, right? It's a feeling, a reputation, and a message you create about around your business. Okay. The key components are vision, values, voice, and aesthetics. A lot of people are like, oh, well, I have really strong branding because I have these colors in my Canva and this font. That does, what is that doing? Is it, what is, how is that connecting and how is that shaping who you're talking to when it comes to your ideal client, right? How is that building trust for her? So if you look at these photos, I put them in there, like if you saw Chanel on that little store driving by in the middle of nowhere, would you trust that? Would you believe that that's a brand that's selling Chanel? I wouldn't. I mean, it's super cute, but like, no, I'm sorry. Right? It's how you're showing up. It's how you're speaking. Now, I say voice and vision and values because how what you're saying over and over again. A lot of people, I think, lose track of the brand when it comes to trends and it comes to trending music because if you pick a song that is she's not going to relate to, it potentially could throw off the whole vibe. So people don't buy confused. They buy what they're going to be feeling most connected to. So it might feel very repetitious. It might feel like, oh my God, okay, I have to pick the same thing over and over again. My sister and my brother-in-law own a burger business, a burger restaurant in um, and it's an old school vibe. So they play the same station every single day. It's old school R&B, right? It is on in the restaurant every single day. That is part of their brand. They are not veering from it, okay? From by playing Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey one day. They are very consistent with branding. Would Chanel do something trendy just to get likes? No, they are going to stay very true to their brand. Even if it's going to cause, like I said, it's not about going viral or famous. It's staying true to your brand. It's building trust with a scroll. So anytime you're veering from that, it's breaking the trust over and over and over again. She will not buy confused. She's going to be like, what is she about? Is she about the trends? Is she trying to make me laugh? Okay. So it's really important to stay true to your brand and what that really means to her, your ideal client at the end of the day and on the other side. It's more than a logo, it's a vibe she feels when she lands on your page. The trust she builds from your words, photos, tone. The reason she chose you over someone cheaper or closer. Okay. Someone can choose someone else that's cheaper than me, even down the street. Okay. But they don't. Okay. Because why? Right. So I, someone told me something and I loved it. And she said, your brand is what people talk, how people talk about you after you've left the room. Okay. What do you want them to say about you when you're not in the room? I remember I had a client who came in and she was like, I was talking to her. She's like, "Do you know anyone who could refer me, or I can get Botox?" And I was like, giving her, I have a couple cards here that we refer out to, and she's like, "Oh wait, is that the account that does all the funny posts?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" It kind of held me like I was like, "That's what she remembers. She just thinks that they're funny." Okay, so when you're is she gonna go there and book with them? I don't think so, right? Because they're doing is trying to what? I don't know. I'm not saying don't be funny. If that's your thing, do it. For me, it's not my thing. But if it's your thing, do it. But also think of a way of why she cares, right? We're thinking, why would she care about that? What's in it for her? Okay. Strong branding makes people say, I love her energy. She feels like someone I can trust. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Without a clear brand, you're just another artist or another technician, right? You become the only choice that feels right. Okay. She wants to buy from you because of who you are, what you've been saying, and how you've been talking to her. So if she doesn't feel understood, if she doesn't see herself reflected in your content or feel spoken to in your captions, she's not going to book. Not because she doesn't trust you as an artist, but because she hasn't been given a reason to believe you're the one for her. Does that make sense? I wish I can get my chat back up here. I can, but it's huge. I'm not sure what I did. Okay. So people buy and shop with their eyes. We buy with our eyes. Imagine going to pick out a bottle of wine. How do you pick out a bottle of wine? If you don't know what you're looking for. Okay. If you don't know what you're looking for, it makes sense. Okay. Thanks. Uh, okay. Um, when I would go pick out a bottle of wine, I would shop by the label, right? Label first. I would look at the label, right? And then I would maybe read the description in the background. Okay. Um, Instagram is a visual app, right? It's a show versus tell. Your website, social media, your studio, your clothes, everything is going to show and evoke some kind of emotion, right? Most of the time, good marketing is going to make you feel something. Going to feel like, oh my God, I want to feel like that. I want that. I want to be there doing what she's doing, right? You picture yourself in that situation, experiencing what that person is experiencing because it's something that you desire to feel, right? It's not a fact, it's not a feature or a benefit. So people buy with their eyes first. So what are you really showing them? What do you think is happening in these photos? Does it make you feel something? Can your client see herself in that moment? Okay, this is showing process, right? This is, she's getting a facial. Okay, so these are just different viewpoints. What do you think is going on here? If you didn't know that I'm a permanent makeup artist, what do you think I'm trying to show you here? What if I was trying to show you, what if I did skincare? What if I did lashes? What if I did Botox? What if I did lip filler? Would you know what I'm doing? Would you relate to these photos? Can your client see herself in these photos? Can your Is your client normally laying down, looking up? Absolutely not. Okay. You want to put her in a position where your client can relate to it quickly, right? We have very little time, seconds, if that, for her to scroll and be like, "Oh, that's different. She looks beautiful. I want to look like that. What is she doing?" Right? So, this is sort of like my thing, right? Especially for permanent makeup artists. Everybody's like laying down upside down or like eyes closed at a funeral. Like, what are we trying to show? Who are we connecting with? What is your ideal client gonna say? Like, bring in. Like, I've had a client bring in her phone and she was trying to like show me. She's like, well, it was kind of like it was like, oh my God, this is what I don't have time for her to try to figure out and look upside down at the brows. No, okay. So don't create content for another permanent makeup artist if you're trying to book clients. If you're trying to show off your work because you want to train someone, a little different, right? They're going to understand it a little bit better, going to connect to that a little bit better, right? Okay, quick audit for your brand. Here's your brand saying what you think it's saying. You can screenshot this. I'm going to try to move a little bit more quickly. And hopefully there's some aha moments here along the way. Can someone tell what you do and who it's for in under 5 seconds? Look at your IG bio, your profile photo, and your first 9 posts to help you out. And then how does it make her feel? Okay. Looking at these brands in 3 seconds, how does it make you feel? And what do you think they're selling? And who do you think they're selling to? Hmm. This one kind of gives it away because they're very, very good and clear on their branding, right? Okay. This is Walmart, by the way. Okay. Just to show you the difference in how important branding is. Who are they talking to in their branding, right? It's showing. It's showing. What about these photos? Okay, can you tell who they are and who they're attracting? Okay, like what are they trying to maybe sell or market in the first photo on the left? Can you figure it out in 3 seconds? And then what are they trying to sell or maybe market in the middle photo? And of course, the last, right? Now I want you to think about the what we talked about, the vision, the tone, the vibe, the colors. Is it evoking an emotion? Is it showing you an experience? Or is it literally just pictures of their products? Okay. So pay attention when you're looking at things of how it makes you feel. Can you tell the difference between these artists and their pages? Why would someone go to any of these people over the other person? Okay. Beautiful work. That's great. Why would she choose first, second, or third? Is it showing her anything other than pretty work? Okay. What about these? How important is branding and vibes and content when you see it side by side, right? Would you keep scrolling? Would anything make you stop and be like, okay, these are just this is just food for thought. Another one. Say you want to get a tiny tattoo and you're researching tiny tattoos. Which one are you going to choose? Based off of what and why? What are you seeing? Why is it making you choose that way? What is it making you feel? Okay. I love their page, by the way. You can see my little cursor, right? It's a coffee shop and a tattoo place. You're like, okay, here we are telling people not to have coffee. And they're like, yeah, come in, have coffee and get a tattoo, right? So, Brooklyn, okay? But there's different. It's a vibe, it's a whole vibe. Maybe you want to go there because you just want to experience being there. And that is what they're consistently showing you and who they're talking to, okay? This is going to just show you good work, okay? This is a work, but potentially, where are they? This one looks like a closet. Like, like, okay, be really mindful of what you're putting out there and why and who's looking at it. Okay, you're getting a facial. You're choosing different esthetician. Okay. These are different examples of people that you might look into and scroll and make your decisions and just look at the difference between consistency and branding, right? Okay. Why is this important to create your brand around your ideal client, right? If I was creating all my page like Walmart and I wanted to attract the person that's going to want to buy a Chanel bag, would she be walking in my door, following me or booking? Absolutely not, right? So it's super important to know who you're talking to. Okay. So you can look at your nice last 9 posts, visuals, again, color, music, captions, tone, overall energy. Okay. I know that there was things that were like so much, right, goes on these trends. And I'm like, I always look at these trends and I'm like, okay, maybe they're fun to do because maybe you don't have anything else that you know what to post. But then I'm like, what is the person on the other side doing with that trending? What is she doing with it? And how is it strengthening them booking with you? Okay. People don't buy confused. So a quick brand audit, brand saying what you think it's saying. Language, okay? Are you using words she would use or beauty industry, beauty jargon she doesn't understand or care about? When people say AAM, it's still the American Academy of Micropigmentation. Your ideal client will have no idea what that is, okay? So if you're targeting clients, don't use jargon or acronyms that she does not understand. A tip that I use is that I create copy so that a 12-year-old can understand it. Okay. And I try to make sure I'm not using words. Like I remember I said once, and I had my sister read it, and she's like, what does PMU mean? And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, okay. She's my sister. She knows what I do. And I was like, permanent makeup artist. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, but she didn't connect with it. She doesn't know what it means. So spell things out. As annoying as it is, spell it out. Okay. Or maybe say it in a way where, again, you want to be in her mind and her thoughts. You're not sharing how good it's going to be based off features and benefits. She might not care, right? So, emotional connection. Can she recognize herself in your content? Are you solving a problem she actually wants solved or just showcasing what you can do? Are you making it easy for her to trust you, take the next steps, and imagine herself in your chair? Okay, if someone lands on your page, can they tell who you're for within 3 seconds? Okay. Not just what you do, but who you're for. Is it going to be for her? Is it going to be for the person shopping at Chanel, Walmart? Who's it for? Right? Would your dream client feel safe messaging you without already knowing what to ask? Would she feel safe DMing you? If your content assumes she already knows what she needs, you may be scaring her off. Okay. Is your brand showing her transformation or just technique? People don't buy brows, clear skin, shiny hair, like smooth forehead, right? They buy confidence, they buy freedom, they buy time, they buy identity. right? Do your captions, visuals, and vibe reflect the emotional shift or just features and benefits? Does your brand feel like an experience or a transaction? Would someone say it lacks a little personal touch? I'm just another appointment on her calendar. I don't know. I just feel like, or she really gets me. This feels worthy of every penny. I've had reviews. People are like, it's worth every dollar. It's worth the investment. Meanwhile, they could be paying anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, right? And sometimes more if they're doing multiple services. And when you're doing injections, right? Botox isn't cheap. So I want to make them feel like, yes, this is totally worth it. I'm worth it, right? And it's worth doing with her. Are you branding for validation from peers or connection with clients? Okay. Are you trying to make other artists laugh? Are you jumping on trends or build trust with the woman who is nervous about tattooing her face? Okay. It's just a different way of creating content, a different way of showing up. If someone sent your page to a friend, would they say, this is so you, she's expensive, but worth it? Or would they say, wait, what does she do again? Or she's just another brow page, right? How are you going to differentiate yourself from someone else doing the same thing? Branding. Branding isn't about being trendy, aesthetic, or perfect. It's making the right person feel like you're the only choice, right? So people buy for different reasons, but almost everyone is driven by four of these core human motivators. So when you're creating content and your services, you have to fall into one of these in order for her to move forward. Okay. So they are desire, attraction, love, health, safety, protection, money, status, growth, freedom, ease, or time. Okay. We all fit into these categories when we're buying something. All of us, we're one. One of these has to be the motivator, a core motivator for us to move forward with purchasing it. Maybe it's a couple things, but it has to be at least one of these. So your service, what you do, what you offer has to fit into one of these for her in order to move forward, or multiple, okay? What is buyer psychology? It's a study of how and why people make purchasing decisions. Buyer psychology is about understanding what's going on in someone's mind before they click buy or book. We all go through this. Buyer psychology reminds you that content that books isn't about you. It's not about me. It's about her emotions, her thoughts, process, and the version of herself she's trying to become. So it's your job to create content that feels like a solution, builds trust and safety, and shows her what's possible. People don't buy things because they need them. Remember, I kind of mentioned that before, right? They buy things because of how it makes them feel, right? So, four core concepts of buyer psychology: desire over logic. People buy based on emotion and then they justify it with logic. Okay. So, why are we talking to them in a logical way and not in an emotional way? Okay. So they want to feel something first, right? Ease, confidence, status, beauty, freedom. Then they find a reason to make it make sense. Okay. Example, a client who wants maybe nano brows because they're tired of filling them in. What's really behind the fact that she's tired of filling them in? She wants to feel more confident, maybe walking out the door without makeup. That's her emotional driver. That's what you speak to. Okay. Not that they're tired of filling them in. If you're only speaking about her struggle and not speaking to her ultimate emotional desire, you're kind of missing that connection of bringing her forward through your content with her. So we all buy in different stages, and your ideal client might go through all of these stages, and she might show up in your world in a different stage. Okay, so this applies to every single person. It's awareness. They didn't know that they even had a problem, right? Some people, what do they call, like brow blindness, right? They don't even know. You're like, how could she walk around like that? They might not even know it's a problem, right? Interest. Okay, maybe they think they want a solution. So your job is to educate, inspire, paint the vision of what's possible. Consideration. Okay, she knows about it. She's interested in it. Now she's thinking, who am I going to go to for this? Who am I going to choose to solve my problem? Okay. Decision. Should I book now? Is it the right time? Do I have enough money? Is she the right person? Can I trust her with my face? And then, yes, okay, she's ready to move forward. And then after purchase, did I make the right choice? Okay. Right. So we all go through this. People are asking themselves before they move forward, before they book, before they buy. They're not just going to fall onto your page. Some people do, and book right away, right? But they've already gone through all of those stages. They've already gone through awareness. So if someone lands on your page and they're in the consideration stage and you're saying book now, you're going to scare her away, right? So buyers naturally fear regret. They're asking, will this be worth it? What if I don't like it? What if I waste my money or time? You don't need to reduce risk and increase perceived you need to reduce the risk and increase perceived reward with your testimonials, clear process, education, social proof that reflects them. Okay. Buyers need to see themselves in the outcome. All right. We kind of already moved through this, right? What's in it for me? They need to see themselves in the transformation. Okay. So if your content says this is for you and shows them their future self, they're more likely to buy or move forward with you. So let's map out buyer psychology in 4 steps. So we review, she buys with emotion, not logic. Okay. Your content should make her feel something. Okay. What is her emotional driver here? Okay. You can screenshot this. Save it. I'm going to move forward. But this is what we just talked about, right? Awareness, interest, consideration, decision, and after booking. These are the stages she will move through. Okay. Your job is to talk to each one of those. Okay. You're talking to each one of those. So let's map buyer psychology to content strategy. She needs to see herself in the transformation. So your content should reflect her lifestyle, her struggles, her goals, not just your skill. Okay. You can tell a story just like I did. Or do use before and afters with context. So your copy needs to be about her and her emotional driver, not just your features and benefits and then say book now. Okay. She wants to avoid regret, right? So your content shall build trust, credibility, and safety to make her feel safe with this choice. Answer her FAQs before she asks. So you, again, have to know your ideal client and the questions she's asking in her head so you can do this and feel like I'm in her head, I'm in her thoughts, right? If you don't know what she's thinking or questioning or what she's fearful of, you're not going to be able to answer these questions. Okay. We all go through these. Let's just say we're buying shampoo, right? And it's not just about the shampoo. Okay. You want it to do something, but also, what is the emotional driver behind buying a shampoo? For me, I have curly hair or frizzy hair. I need it to hydrate. I need it to not dry out my scalp. I need it to do a couple of these what features and benefits, right? But also because I want my hair to look good. I want to feel good with what my hair is, right? So you're going to look at different shampoos, right? You're going to go through these processes and shop for them. Let's just say you are shopping for a shampoo. Let's just take quickly note of the branding, the vibe, the voice, the vibe, okay? And who they're talking to, what they're showcasing, how is it making you feel, what problems are they solving, right? People don't always buy the smartest or most logical thing. They buy what makes them feel, okay? Buying is more about feelings than facts, okay? It's about making her, the person seeing it, feel something. It's not just showing about what you do, okay? It's about how she feels. Buyer awareness stages, the level of understanding she has, okay? So again, she might be unaware, problem aware, solution aware, and product aware. This is very similar, but here's a picture of what your content should do and who it should speak to in potential ratio. There was a time I was speaking to only the ready stage, and I was like, why is it so quiet? Right? Because most of the time, people that fall into your world are not ready to move forward, just like the reason why you might be here, right? You didn't go and buy the courses directly yet. You're here, right? There's some trust that needed to be built still, or maybe just to see what it's about, to see what kind of value and like what's in it for you. What's on the other end of it? Like, what's going to change for you in the future if you take my courses, right? You're asking yourself all those questions too, right? So you can take a screenshot of this, save it. This is an example of a client who was, I moved from unaware to booked. She was scrolling. She saw this picture of a client I posted, and she messaged me and she's like, these brows are insane. And I was like, okay, here, are you researching brows, nano brows? No. She never even knew what they were until she found her page. Then she got into it. She said she was actually looking for lip blush, but she ended up booking brows. She went from unaware to booked. And she was like, how can I get in like this week? Okay. She moved very quickly through those stages. Most people don't. I have people that have come back to me a year later after watching me on Instagram, 2 years later, 6 months. Okay, so this is why I keep showing up and telling them the same things to build trust. Okay, so if you know why and how people buy, it's going to be much easier for you to create content that's going to move her forward with you. Okay, she's going to start thinking, that's me. I want to feel like that. She gets me. I want that. Okay. When your content taps into emotion, trust, and desire, not just features and benefits, and look what I can do from your skill set, becomes way more than a post. It becomes a gentle nudge she needs to finally say, yes, she's the next one for me. Okay. How do they all work together? So you have your buyer psychology, your buyer's journey awareness stages. So it's what she's feeling, what she's doing along the way, right? What actions is she taking to solve her problem, and what she knows about the problem. Okay. What she cares. All three help you create content that moves from a curious stranger to a book client. People love to spend money. We all do, right? We all do on solving our problems, right? We want to buy the shampoo that's going to fix our frizzy hair. We want to buy the mascara that's going to make our lashes look longer. We want to buy the sweatpants that feel good on our bloated belly, right? We just don't want to be sold to. Okay. So it's a different way of showing up. When you create connections, that will lead you to conversations, and conversations can lead you to bookings or sales. Okay. Try to remember this flow. Connections lead to conversations that lead to sales. Buyer psychology content audit questions. So I'm going to have you just screenshot these because I do want to move through the rest of this pretty quickly. Look at your last 5 posts and rate them 1 to 5. 1, not at all. 5, absolutely. You can always DM me these later. I'd love to see them. So does this post make her feel something? So you're going to go ahead, go look at your last post. Let's go look at, you can even look at your last 9. If we're going to do them a little later. Okay. Would she stop scrolling because it speaks to her desire or struggle? Is it emotionally driven or just a bit of facts, features, and benefits? What stage of the buyer's journey is this for? So what stage are you talking to when you went with your last 9 posts? Am I talking to someone who's just curious? Is she in the awareness stage? Am I talking to someone who's ready but just needs a little more assurance to book now that I'm the right person for her? Is this content about me or is it about her? Does this post highlight my work or her transformation? Can she see herself in the story or photo? Have I removed the risk of regret? Does this post answer a fear or objection she might have? Is there trust being built here? Right? Would she say, this is exactly what I needed to hear? Am I using her words? Am I mirroring, not just industry lingo? Does she feel like I'm ready? I'm reading her mind or solving her problems? So I want to have you think about this. And it's a little blunt, but never shut up about what you offer. A lot of the times we're like, oh my God, I just feel like I'm saying the same thing, or I'm like, maybe I'm showing up too much and like selling or asking too much. That is your job. Remember, Instagram is a tool for you to use. And if you're not excited about what you offer or what you do, then how are you going to make her excited? Right? You're solving a problem for her, right? You're not trying to sell it, you're solving her problem. So your job isn't to talk to 100 different people about lots of things. It's to say the same thing 8, to 30 times or more to one person until they're ready to respond. Until they're ready to respond. Okay. Why this matters: Instagram limits rates. We probably all know this, right? Only 3% of followers see each post. So you think, oh my God, she probably already saw that. She probably did not. Okay. So many followers haven't seen it or may have forgotten. Repetition builds recognition. Recognition builds trust, right? Branding. Your enthusiasm communicates confidence. So again, never shut up about what you offer. Your enthusiasm communicates confidence. If I didn't constantly show up and remind you what I do and what I can offer, then you might, one, never have seen it. And maybe like, you know what? You're kind of, maybe you get to feel a little bit of my energy about it too, right? You're like, I know, Melissa, you were like, I'm excited. I felt that. So you felt it, right? So we're all in this together, right? We're excited. Reach is tiny, so few people get to see each post, right? So it takes multiple exposures with the same message, often 8 to 30 times. Can you imagine? Okay, before someone moves forward. This is why Instagram is great, but it's also why it's important to be consistent. And we'll talk quickly into that. Stay visible, stay consistent. Say it again until it's seen, right? You're not annoying. You're building trust and momentum. Okay, you're not annoying. If she finds you annoying, she's gonna unfollow you. And then she was never your ideal client to begin with, right? If she's still there, talk to her. Okay. There's a difference between consistency and frequency. Frequency is how often you post, consistency is how aligned your content is every time you show up. Okay. Now, I'm not just talking about alignment with, um, again, here, your message, right? All of these things need to be aligned. This is why when someone posts something like random, you're just confusing your audience, right? It's about you. It becomes about you because you're like, I'm tired of posting another before and after photo. It doesn't matter how you really feel, right? It's about her. So if you take yourself out of Instagram and just picture her, someone who's needing what you have to offer on the other side, it will help you show up a little bit more confidently, hopefully, and consistently, and less burnout. Okay. So all of these things need to be consistent every single post, or else you end up with this Chanel in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So don't confuse her. Repeat what you're known for. Consistency, again, does not equal frequency, but both are important. Okay. So again, people don't book what they understand. They don't buy what feels all over the place, and they won't remember what they hear only once. Okay. But when you're consistent, she starts to know you, she begins to trust you, and she remembers what you offer. And then when she's ready, because she might not be ready, she's going to go through all of those steps, right? Depending on when she falls into your world to move forward with you. So you're speaking to all of those stages. She'll think of you. Consistency builds trust. So trust, recognition, loyalty, momentum, bookings. I put this picture here of this guy because I have this story of like where, you think of what helps you build trust with someone, right? Now, if there was a guy who you were really interested in, but you're like, I just don't know. I don't know if I trust him. And he's been ghosting you for weeks. And then all of a sudden he shows up with a bouquet of flowers at your door on Valentine's Day. You're gonna be like, what the? Like, no. Like, no, dude, like, that's great, but I don't trust you. Okay. So focus on posting with clarity, confidence, and consistency. People book what feels safe and showing up the same way again and again. That's what builds safety. Okay. This is what posting with confidence means. So sometimes you're like, what does even posting with confidence means? You're clear on your message. You know who you're talking to. You believe in what you're offering. You're excited about what you offer, and you believe that what you offer is going to solve her problems in the way she needs it solved. Right? You trust that the right people are watching, even if she's quiet. Even if she's quiet, she is watching. Okay. So don't take silence as that she's not moving forward. She might be moving forward silently. Okay. Just keep showing up consistently. You don't need to chase trends to be seen. You're going to lead with your value, not validation. Be okay with repeating yourself because repetition equals recognition and results. I'm going to quickly go through my ideal client. Just to give you an example, my ideal client is 35, 45, financially stable. She's busy, professional. She values a polished look, but doesn't have time for energy or for glam. She wears a soft, natural makeup, maybe a touch of tinted moisturizer, mascara. She's elegant, but understood. Clean nails, Chanel bag, sneakers, layers of gold jewelry decorates her casual look. Her brows have gotten sparser over the years. She's tired of filling them in daily. Questions she's already asking in her head, right? Quiet hesitations, daily annoyances, and deep desires that I know she has that I am answering in my content. Will this look natural? What if I don't like the shape? What if it fades over time? What if it hurts? What if it looks too dark or harsh? Can I trust her with my face? How long will it last? Okay, it goes on and on and on, right? These are just some, but I'm sure you know some, and there's endless reasons, right? I know her buying psychology, passive awareness. If she's not impulsive, right? Most of the time, she's not going to be my client that went from unaware to booked, right? It's great when she falls into my world, but most of the time she buys through trust, research, and emotional safety. So this is how she likely moves through her buying decision. She sees my content and silently follows. She does not like, comment yet, right? But she's watching. She's scanning for natural healed results, clients who look like her. She's trying to do a vibe check. Do I trust her? Can I see myself there? Okay, her problem recognition, she's rushing to fill in her brows before drop off and says, I'm over this, right? She sees someone with great brows and thinks, I want that. Okay, she's done with her problem and ready to move forward, right? She's not still struggling. She's not still struggling. She's moved on. Okay, so she's going to start saving. She's going to start reading the captions and she's going to watch my stories. She's going to start to see if where she's connecting, what is she relating with? Okay. Okay, so this is how I gain her trust. I share content that answers her exact unspoken questions. I show healed work and explain why it looks the way it does. Okay, not just here's a before and after beautiful book now. I narrate stories of women just like her. I speak to her values, her biggest desires, ease, quality, trust, her natural beauty, who she is, what her daily look is like. I present myself both as warm and highly skilled, so authoritative content. Emotional buy-in, logical justification. Okay, so she's going to, again, we all buy emotionally first, then justify it with logic. Once she feels safe and excited, she'll justify the investment. It's worth it. I don't have to fill my brows in, right? She's booked out for months. I should reserve now. I trust her. She really listens. So my content should do this: answer unspoken questions, normalize her hesitations, show results that reflect her goals, highlight long-term ease, not short-term glam, because she does not care about that, right? Build emotional trust before asking for a sale. Okay. This is something that I want to have you see. Your content, hi, is think of this as a gem, right? And it has all these beautiful facets on the top, right? And you're creating all the different kinds of content for her. And think of the point of the gem as your world, right? All you need to have her fall into your world is to resonate with one facet. Okay? Not all of them, one. Okay? She needs two things from you. She needs to trust in the transformation and she needs to know it works in her budget. That's it at the end of the day. But she's going to go through all this other stuff that we just talked about. But I want you to try to remember this gem. Okay? She just needs to resonate with one of those facets. But maybe she needs to hear it 30 times. And maybe she didn't even see it the first 15. Okay? So this is why being consistent and showing up consistently is important. My final thoughts I want to leave with you is to consume with intention, because I don't want you to go down a rabbit hole when you're scrolling. I usually set literally a phone timer for 5 minutes. I scroll for inspiration, not in my industry, and then I'm off. Okay. When you consume, it will absolutely shut off your brain to create. You will not have energy, you will not have space to create. So consume with intention. I want you to create more than you're consuming. Now, what I have to offer you here is sort of like a picture. I did send you the link in the chat. I had created 5 courses, and there's a little extra thing in there with my full chat GPT prompts to help you get a lot of the answers you might need. But all of the courses together for one price. Now, each course, if you have any questions, please ask me them about the courses, but it brings you through a little deeper dive into maybe finding your ideal client. It brings you to the how you connect with her in the DMs and move her from that unaware to booked. Okay, it's my complete framework, scripts, everything is in there. So if you have any questions for that, please let me know. But you can screenshot this. I just also want to thank you for being here because it's fun to talk to people and not just myself on my screen all the time. And it's also showing me that you're like me, right? We're in the same boat, we're in the same world, and you want to grow, you want to have your dream come true as you should. And it doesn't have to be as hard as you think, right? Sometimes it can feel lonely and quiet, absolutely. But it doesn't mean that things aren't working. Okay. So, um, I again thank you so much for being here. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions off the top of your head? And then I will let you go. Um, I
Thank you
did
so much.
thank you. Did you guys have any aha moments that you would like to share? Anything that stuck out? You're welcome, Alex.
Everything, it's just so like I feel like, wow, this is me. Like you are speaking to me.
Mhm. Okay.
And also I know um like what you said, it is going, but slow. It's going
Yeah.
slow. It's like I know everything I need to do. I just need
Hmm.
to implement it and start it.
Hmm.
So like everything makes so much sense
Hmm.
and
I'm glad.
you spoke to me. Like
Oh,
I'm in your little.
you're my diamond. You're in my world.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
everything, for
you.
sharing your knowledge.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you for adding that and sharing that with me. It means a lot. But yeah, honestly, it's one of those things where it can feel slow. It can absolutely feel slow, but it doesn't mean it's not working. So I'm here. You can send me any questions, any DMs. And again, if you have any questions about continuing on with any of the courses, please let me know. But I'm going to go. I am running a little late with my client who's waiting for me in the waiting room. So you can send me your DMs and your questions. But thank you again.
Thank you.